What's up, everybody? Today I want to talk about a more in-depth video. We've done videos before on bracing, but we want to go more in-depth on, say, bracing and core strength because they are related. So what is bracing? So bracing is pretty much you are getting ready for, say, an exercise, a movement, and you're creating pressure within your abdomen, okay, within your trunk to create tension to do lifts safely, and then also do them to the maximum extent that you can do so. So we want you to be safe and stay injury free and do the movement correctly, where if you're not braced, you're not doing them correctly. But then also too, to get the most out of your training, if you aren't braced, then you're not gonna be able to perform at your best, whether it be in your sport or say in the weight room. So why we should do it? I mean, look, when it comes down to, say, athletes, it's very easy because even if, say, somebody is kicking a soccer ball and they lack either the core strength or be able to create pressure, then say they're going to be kicking and they're not going to be able to do so effectively, which then could lead to, one, they're not going to be able to kick it very far, but then also, two, we don't want them getting hurt. So why we should be doing it is because we're absorbing. So like, say if you're an athlete and running into somebody, you're absorbing, okay, the pressure, or you're landing and say loading up into one leg and then going away. You can generate, stabilize, and accumulate force and then transfer power elsewhere. So think of it as a regular person, say doing, say, a back squat, bar on their back, okay, for them to either to stabilize, stay, not be going all over the place, everything's tight. We tell people, hey, create tension from the floor all the way up. But if you don't do so in your core, okay, your legs can be, stronger than anyone's, but if your core doesn't have that strength and you're not bracing it, one, you're risking a lot of, say, back injuries usually is what's going to come out of that. Because when you brace, it's help keeping your back neutral. So it's going to stop you from going back and forth like this and rounding. And if you do round or arch your back and you're braced, you're actually probably not going to get hurt versus not bracing and then arching or going into flexion or extension. So what we're really focused on is when we're telling people, kind of the first step, like quick coaching right off the bat, we're like, hey, just squeeze your stomach tight like someone's going to punch you. That's very quick, like off the cuff. Hey, you're starting here. We're going to start getting into how bracing is, keeping your stomach tight. If you're doing core movements, we don't want you to, hey, just try to sit into a plank position and then not keep your stomach tight, because then you're going to arch your back, then get hurt. But how you would brace is we want to learn how to breathe through your belly. So all of your intra-abdominal muscles are based off, or a lot of it's based off your breathing, and that's where the pressure kind of starts in your core. So we want to make sure, so instead of doing like chest breaths where you're like lifting up and it's shallow, you're going to take advantage of your belly. So we'll say, hey, we want you to use your diaphragm and breathe belly in. Okay, and you're pushing your belly out, and then breathe out, and then you're pushing all the air out from your belly. So being able to do that, one, you have to be conscious of that and learn how to do that. So usually you can either tie a band around your waist. That helps people learn how to do it because they're pushing out against the band. Or just put your hands on your belly, learning to breathe in through your belly and then out. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, say, a big breath in, or you're gonna, breathe your belly out. So big breath in. Now I'm gonna squeeze my stomach as tight as I can. I wanna think bracing from all the way around, and I'm gonna breathe a big breath out all through my belly. And when I breathe out, I'm squeezing my stomach down, and think of your stomach as a circle and it's getting smaller, smaller, smaller. Now the difficult part, or kind of where it kind of feels weird, is all my air will be out of my stomach, and then I'm going to take a breath into my belly, into my brace. So we say breathing into your brace. It's not going to be that big, but think of your trunk here. What's going to happen is you're going to create, when you breathe in, you're going to get pressure all the way around, and that's what keeps you safe, but then also allows you to lift the most amount of weight, keeps your back in neutral position, and you don't have any what we call energy leaks where, say you're bench pressing, but you're not driving through your legs, like you're literally only making it your upper body. And this can even go to, like, I guess bracing. The idea of bracing can also be squeezing a bar as hard as you can. If you create strength, if you're squeezing here, you're getting strength elsewhere. So if we can kind of connect all the dots, you can kind of connect all the power through your whole body. So when you breathe out, then I take a breath in and I push air all the way out, then I'm ready to perform the lift. Now, typically, that is going to be, you know, there's a couple strategies that you can go about it. A lot of people will have different ideas on, hey, I want you to take a breath before you lift the weight. Then I want you to step, say you're doing a squat, you brace, you take a breath, you lift up, you step back, and then you do all of this again where your stomach's already tight, you breathe out, and then you go, take a breath in, okay, your brace, filling your belly with air, then you can say perform your lift, come back up. Now, depending on the reps, depending on how heavy the weight is, you can go forever like, hey, we want you to take another breath each time that you do a set. If you have 2 reps, maybe you won't take a breath. Also, it depends, you know, so some people are like, I'd rather not breathe and just hold my brace. Other people, if you're doing like a set of 5, you're gonna need to breathe because we don't want you passing out. But it also could be, you know, is this like 60% of the maximum weight that you can do, you know, where you're having the strategy of when you're bracing, how you're doing it. We always tell people, hey, squeeze your stomach as tight as you can. That's kind of step 1 to give them, kind of support people the most. When we get into the more like bigger lifts where we're, hey, we want you to deadlift, want you to squat, then we would say, hey, breathe into your brace and go that way. And usually that starts with like a warm up where you're teaching breathing and stuff like that. And people are like, what are we doing? But this teaches you how to create power, how to stay safe. And this is from anyone, for anyone that's coming in the weight room or an athlete out on the field, them getting their core strength to be stronger and then taking advantage of that core strength and then learning how to take your breaths and brace during those main lifts will allow you to stay safe, but then also create a lot of power and continue to do so for a long time without getting jacked up. So if you guys have any questions on this, please feel free to reach out, ask a question below, we'll answer it. But thanks for listening.